Hey, this is Kat from Red Mountain Shaman, and I share shamanic wisdom through dreams, visions, nature, synchronicities, intuition, channeling, art, music, photography, and shamanic journeys. Welcome back to my channel. My content is always free, but if you feel the call to support me, feel free to inquire about purchasing the artwork or photography you see on my videos, download our music, book a session with me, or consider purchasing something at my online store, where all my items are handpicked by me. Links are in the description box in the comment area. So this week's video is going to be a string of personal experiences that led to my own healing after dealing with what felt like a psychic attack from an unhealed family member. Some might also call this a narcissistic attack or abuse. I found a channel by Ellie Frost, and she's devoted almost her entire channel to explaining what's really going on here concerning attachments and healing from this prevalent affliction. I'll put the link to her channel in the comment area if you're interested. It does feel like the intermingling of frequencies is ramping up right now, and if you're sensitive to energy, you may be feeling this yourself. For me, it almost feels like light workers are being targeted in this way. It started out about a month ago when a few different people that I felt needed to be removed from my life started trying to pry their way back in through different means like phone calls, texts, and messages. The only person that I ended up engaging with was a family member, and to keep this person's identity under wraps, we will just call them Riley. I was told by another family member that Riley was terrified of surgery and was suffering from many physical ailments. I came across a holistic protocol for my own healing, and in the process realized that the same protocol was known to heal Riley's ailment as well. Excited to share the news, I gave Riley a call and agreed with Riley that surgery could be dangerous and to do some research on this particular natural protocol to see if it would help before committing to undergoing the knife. Well, long story short, Riley blew up and distorted my words and intentions to reach out and help and told me I was toxic. I stood in my power and told Riley I loved them and was there for them, but that I would not put up with their behavior. I have always been a very open person with an open heart and have had to learn boundaries the hard way after encountering several people in a row with these kind of tendencies. After this abrupt, totally unexpected, and disturbing encounter, I still felt shaken and kept thinking about the incident. Something felt off. So, unbeknownst to me, a couple weeks later, it was the night of the Crow Moon. I woke up not being able to breathe normally and had to take several deep breaths. It almost felt like an anxiety attack. I got out of bed and smudged myself in the room and played my singing bowl and calmed down. Then I felt led to go into a ceremony. I laid out my sacred objects and my prayer ties in the 4 directions, as my guides have taught me, reminiscent of the Native American way. I protected myself from any imposters and purified the space. I called in my ancestors from each direction. Those who were present were Wokava and Watsawap. As a quick backstory, they were Paiute shamans who helped spread the practice of the ghost dance, in which Sitting Bull and his Lakota tribe were practicing before the Wounded Knee massacre. Sitting Bull was eventually killed, and his white horse, that was given to him by Buffalo Bill, danced as it heard the gunshot because it was trained to do this in the Wild West shows. Sitting Bull then symbolically gifted me this white horse and told me to keep dancing in the face of death, meaning the death of the old world before the rebirth of the new. Sitting Bull sat between Wokava and Watsawab across from me. Yeshua and Mary were on each side of me. I set intentions for healing in this time of chaos and other intentions of peace and evolution of humanity and the earth. Wokava and Watsawap carried a huge feathered headdress together and placed it on my head. Sitting Bull gave me a beaded necklace with his white horse on it. He scolded me for not listening when Spirit asked me to have one made in this dimension for my ceremonial purposes. I should have listened because the trading post in my town went out of business shortly after I was asked to have this made. I apologized and told them that if I saw one at a powwow, I would buy it, and I put it out as something to manifest. Then they gave me the star quilt and said, "Receive the mantle." Funny because this same phrase came up in 2 recent sessions with clients in my own practice over the past couple weeks. At the end of the ceremony, I was given a single eagle feather, and then Yeshua poured some oil over my head. I then lit my ceremonial pipe and offered it to each being in spirit. I sent the smoke and our intentions and prayers to the Great Spirit and closed the ceremony in thanks and gratitude. I then felt inspired to draw an oracle card, and the card that I drew was called the Freedom Horse. Interesting because the title of the artwork on this video is called Mary and the Freedom Horses. After that, I slept like a baby. The next day, I looked up the Lakota meaning of the eagle feather. They are given as a symbol of what is highest, bravest, strongest, and holiest. Perhaps it is also connected to the shamanic name I was given, Eagle Eye. These feathers are to be treated with the utmost respect and worn with pride. The star quilt is a symbol of honor, friendship, and generosity. The Lakota morning star symbol announces the coming of the sun and light to the earth. It heralds the dawn. I looked up what the meaning of what the mantle is and found the biblical symbolism is being wrapped in God's authority and the purpose for which one is called to. It can also be the passing on of prophetic authority one receives when they are ordained or set apart. All of this information was so beautiful and powerful, but something still felt a little off. I decided to use the gift certificate I got for Christmas and book a session for a massage and body reading with a local practitioner. Right away in the session, she picked up on the wound from the family member and that it was lodged in my lower back. She pressed on my left back shoulder and asked if it was tender. She then asked if I had a certain ailment. I said, "No, but the family member does." She then read that my future purpose or path was being weakened by something within the chakras and above the knees. She asked if I read cards. I said, "Not tarot, but I do read oracle cards occasionally." She said that she felt the cards were connected to dark energy and that there may be some sort of curse that I needed to change something in my practice. But she was being blocked from seeing what it truly was. She then explains that she follows Old Testament Levitical law as universal law. I said, Yeshua was a rebel rouser against the religion of his people, right? She made some sort of justification and then told me that I could not mix paganism with Christianity. This is actually the topic of my very first YouTube video entitled Religion versus Earth-Based Spirituality. And if you're interested in listening to that, you can go back and check it out. I feel that teaching people how to mix together universal truths from different spiritual paradigms is actually part of my path. I explained to her that, for me, paganism is connected to animism. There is a spirit in all things. Connection to nature is connection to the Creator, and that just about any tool or practice can be used for good or bad depending on the intent of the person using it. After she left the room, I saw the headdress I was given in the ceremony in my mind's eye, and I heard the words, "Stand in your truth and power," and I did feel more empowered. I then chatted with her at the front desk for a few minutes before I left, and we ended up agreeing on a few things. As I left, I said, "We are all one. You and I are more connected than you think." After I got home, I shared the experience with my son and my husband. I told them that I did not feel like the healing was complete, and I still felt off. My husband suggested we go relax and meditate at the hot springs to see if I could figure out the rest of what was going on. It was nice because nobody was there at first, and my son and I relaxed for a bit. We drove separately, and after my son left, I called in Yeshua for help. I saw him in my mind's eye, and he pulled out a very long black snake from the shoulder area that was mentioned in the session earlier. After the snake was removed, it immediately fell limp in his arms. He then healed the exit wound and the residual energy left from the snake. He then explained that I needed to cut the cords to this family member because the energetic connection to them was allowing in parasitical entities that were feeding on my life force. Archangel Michael helped me with this process, and then I saw that Archangel Michael and Yeshua merged as one. A few minutes after that, as synchronicity would have it, a guy came into the pool with me, and he had a huge tattoo of Jesus on his arm and a black snake going across his back. I chatted with him for a few minutes about how he almost got kicked out of the military for refusing the injections, and he shared with me that he and his comrades were all taken to a propaganda lecture where they were all told that they were going to be passing away if they did not comply with the experiment. We both agreed that more people are becoming aware of what's really going on now. A group of people showed up at the hot pools, and I switched to an empty pool by myself and went into one last meditation. Wokova and Wotsabab appeared again and explained that they were sorry for the intentions to wipe out the white race with the ghost dance. They further explained that the rainbow round dance would represent all nations, cultures, and races, and is more in line with the unity of humanity that we will witness in the future, and that we are all one under the Great Spirit. This philosophy is connected to the rainbow prophecy I have talked about many times on this channel. I don't excuse, but have total empathy for the intention to wipe out the whites, because of how much trauma was endured by their hand. My husband Michael and I have been watching the series 1923. It's a harrowing depiction of how the natives were treated by the church and the government. I highly recommend it if you are looking for a good series to watch. At the end of the meditation, I saw 2 hawks fly overhead. Hawks can be a symbol of power and protection from enemies in native culture. It can also mean prepare for big changes in the future. I don't know about you, but for me, I do feel like this year is going to be a year of big energetic shifts within, as well as big outward events and revelations. Right before I left, I felt like what the practitioner was seeing in my session was the energy of the black snake trying to keep me from my path. I was also shown that the other reason she was being blocked from the last half of the session stemmed from a lingering religious program she still had running within herself. There was so much initial resistance from both of us before this session. It was almost like the snake within me and the religious program within her were trying to keep us both from evolving spiritually to the next level. After this aha moment, the gray sky started to clear. As the sun came out and the blue sky was revealed, a strange cloud that looked just like a row of vertebrae floated right over me. And I heard, "It takes a strong backbone to do this work." Thank you for listening, and I will be back next Sunday with a new video. Take care and stay sovereign, my friends.